the host of Ask the Experts with Curran Bhatia, my guy. Curran Bhatia joins me now. Curran, what's going on?
Dexter, always a pleasure to chat with you. I'm excited we got the Super Bowl on tap. I mean, let's do it, man.
No, Super Bowl. Got to talk about betting.
Of course.
Always a lot of betting around the Super Bowl. So we got a lot to talk about today. But Curran, first prop I wanted to talk to you about that we got to look at is one that a lot of people like to bet on. That is Super Bowl MVP. So many interesting names to go with in terms of this game. So who are you looking at in terms of throwing some dollars down to win MVP of Super Bowl 58?
Here's what you got to think about if you're going to bet on Super Bowl MVP. And we know that since 1971, the Super Bowl MVP has come from the winning team in the Super Bowl. So that means first you got to decide who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. I personally am taking the underdogs, and that is the defending champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. My pick for Super Bowl MVP, Patrick Mahomes. There's actually some value there, plus 125. Now, here's the reason. Here's a stat for you, Dexter. Patrick Mahomes is 11-1-1 versus the spread as an underdog. So I think he embraces that underdog mentality. They're also the defending champs, so we've seen what they can do. Everyone didn't pick them last week. We saw what they can do. So therefore, I'm taking Mahomes as Super Bowl MVP. But if you are going to take the Niners, there's, of course, value in there. You could take Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey. I think Brock Purdy would be a really interesting story, right? It would go from Mr. Irrelevant to extremely relevant as the Super Bowl MVP. So it's all about who you think is going to win. I think that's the first thing, and then you got to make the pick. Like I said, I'm taking Mahomes. Everything we've seen what he's done. We've seen what the Chiefs have done. I'm taking Mahomes even with the dad bod that the photos surfaced recently. So
yeah. Look, for all the people out there with the dad bod, we don't care. We know Mahomes can get it done, which is why I think that's a good bet there. You can definitely look at him. Plus 125, you said, on Patrick Mahomes to win Super Bowl MVP. Look, we've seen him do it before. We know about that Mahomes magic. I don't think that's a bad bet there at all. Now, you mentioned Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Purdy, Mr. Relevant, is not known for his ability to run the ball, Curran. Some will call him sneaky athletic. His rushing yards prop line is 12.5. So I got to ask you this, Curran. Are you going with Mr. Irrelevant over or under 12.5 rushing yards?
I'm going to take over 12.5 rushing yards for Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, who I think is going to be very relevant in this game. Now, yes, overall I am picking the Chiefs, but I do think Brock Purdy is going to have success on his legs, running. I think I'm going to take the over 12.5. Now, part of that is he's already hit over 12.5 in the other games in the postseason. So he's already trending towards that number. At the same time, as good as the Kansas City Chiefs defense has been, Josh Allen was able to run on them. Lamar Jackson was able to run on them. So therefore, I am picking Brock Purdy over 12.5 rushing yards.
All right, going with the over there. That's a good play there with Brock Purdy. And speaking of over-unders, Curran, the over-under for the big game right now is at 47.5 points. My question to you is, would you make a play on that number right now, or would you wait to see if the line moves either way, whether up and down? That can happen with injuries. And if you do bet the 47.5, if you're going to stay at that and go with that, would you go over or under?
47.5 yards, that's the number right now, over under. Now, that number could move. I don't expect it to move much, maybe half a yard here or there. With that said, I know unders have actually been trending this season. Unders have actually hit, Dexter, 61% of the time this season, unders have hit, which is interesting. But in this case, I'm going to be taking the over. Now, we know that, yes, it's a neutral site. It's in Vegas. Now, it's not warm weather necessarily, but we're not expecting like a blizzard or anything that's going to make it difficult to score. It's going to still be good, decent weather, good football weather in Vegas. So I'm going to take the over. We have two supremely motivated teams that have everything to play for. We know what Mahomes has done with the Chiefs. We know what the Niners have done. So I think this is going to be a decently high-scoring game. I also think there's value in the first half over, and that's set at 23 points. So I'm also looking at that number to take the over 23 points for first half.
And 47.5 the total right now for the game. That's something, if you like that number, you can get in on that now. That could change, could go up as we get closer to Super Bowl, or down, depending on injury. So we'll see how that moves. Now, look, I know you're a man who does his research. We know this about Curran. He's going to do his research. Just get some other props I know that you have real quick that you feel has some really good value for the people. So if people are looking to get in on these props early, what are some props that have some really good value that they could jump on?
Here are my Super Bowl 58 props. We got some fun bets here, Dexter, and I think this is going to help. Yeah. We're gonna help bring some value to the people. So first of all, we got Travis Kelce. We know what he's been doing this year. He's actually moved up a level in the postseason. We've seen him perform at the highest possible level. there's a lot of attention on Travis Kelce for many different reasons. And he's actually performed at the high level even more recently. So therefore, I'm going to be taking Travis Kelce anytime touchdown scorer. Last I checked, it was at -110. Now, let's say you want a better value. I think you can also look at Travis Kelce first touchdown scorer. That's at +700. So yes, it's a little bit of a gamble, but he was the first touchdown scorer last week. I think he's going to be thrown to a lot as a target. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on him, and he's rising to that level. So I think that's a good bet, Travis Kelce. Continuing on that theme, Travis Kelce, over 70.5 receiving yards. Same things we're talking about. I think he's going to have a productive game. We know the storylines, which I know we're going to get into in a sec, about everything that's been going on with Travis Kelce. But I think he's had a really good postseason so far, and I think that's going to continue. Now, I did a little research here to find something that maybe not as many people are talking about, but I do think there's evidence here for why this could be a good bet. And that is shortest touchdown yards under 1.5. So what that means is there's going to be a touchdown that's under 1.5 yards. There's a few different ways that can happen, Dexter. There could be a pass interference call that puts you on the 1 yard line. We know the tush push that's been popular in the NFL recently. That means you're right up there on the goal line, 1 yard line, you get the ball in. The reason I think this is a good bet, this has actually hit in the last 7 of 8 Super Bowls. So this is a bet that's trending in the right direction. It's following trends that are going on in the NFL. So therefore, I am taking shortest touchdown yards under 1.5 yards for Super Bowl 58.
Man, I like that. I like that last one because there's a lot of good value there. Now, what I will say about some of those that you just mentioned, Curran, you mentioned a lot of Travis Kelce there. I feel like you might like Travis Kelce as much as Miss Taylor Swift does with all those props there.
I think Travis Kelce has been having some good games. I think he showed a lot of people what he could do in the last game. First touchdown scorer, had a big game.
Right.
He's had a big postseason, so I think that trend continues.
It's going to be interesting to see if a lot of the money comes in on some Travis Kelce props there.
Looking for a super offer for Super Bowl 58? DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. New customers can bet on the big game and turn $5 into $200 instantly in bonus bets. And if you go over to DraftKings Sportsbook app right now, you can check out the lines and odds for Super Bowl 58. A lot of really interesting spots for value. Currently, the over-under set at 47.5. There's also betting via money line, via spread. So many different options. There's a lot of really interesting props, or just put it all together for a nice parlay. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code Curran, CURRAN. New customers can bet $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets, only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 58 with code Curran. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/football for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
Okay, Kurt, we got the serious football props out of the way. That is done. Now we're going to get to the good stuff, the fun ones. And one of the props that I personally love each year, it involves something, us who are a little athletic, we like to drink. That's some Gatorade.
Yes.
Super Bowl Gatorade color odds are already out in a couple of sports books. They have, I think this is interesting, purple is the favorite to be the Gatorade color that the winning coach will get showered with. I got to ask you this. When you're looking at all the colors, the flavors, whatever you want to call it, how are you going to bet this prop?
So this is a really interesting one, right? This is where the research really comes into play, right? We're talking about the color of Gatorade on the bath, on the coach of the winning team. So First of all, Dexter, you got to look at, is it color or flavor, right? That's something to think about. Now, if you know someone who refers to Gatorade by their flavor, not the color, I mean, you might have a problem, right? You should maybe rethink that friendship, I think, right?
If you're referring to it by the color and not the flavor?
No. If you're referring to by the flavor, not the color. You got to say color, right?
I'm with you, because if you refer to it by the flavor, that tells me you are a serious Gatorade drinker and you might be drinking too much of that stuff. That just saying.
Right. Now, okay, so I did dig into this a little bit, okay? There actually has been some line movement here on the color of the Gatorade that will be used in the bath for the coach at the end of the game. So there was line movement. Originally, it was orange. The line moved from plus 550 to plus 500. And this is true, Dexter. This is true. 35% of money has gone to orange in terms of the color of the Gatorade. Now, that orange was used in 2020. So there's an argument there, because everything, you've probably been seeing this everywhere. There seems to be a trend of history possibly repeating itself. In 2020, it was the KC Chiefs versus the Niners. It was Trump versus Biden. All these things seem to be happening again. So if you believe in that, then you're going to say, okay, I'm going to take orange. I am actually going to take, a lot of books have orange as the favorite. I'm actually going to take the underdog, and that actually is purple. Purple is plus 175. And the reason I think purple will be used, last season, purple was used on Andy Reid in the Super Bowl, so I think that trend is going to repeat itself, and therefore I'm taking purple.
All right, there we go. Going with purple. So if you like purple Gatorade, I'm actually assuming the flavor is grape. I hope it is. It should be that. If it's not, that would be a little bit problematic. But okay, if you like that flavor, color, whatever you want to call it, that is good for you to go with. We will see. That's a fun one. I'm intrigued to see. If it's purple, I will be texting you or calling you and let you know that you were right.
Yeah, purple, the underdog for the flavor, KC Chiefs, the underdog for the Super Bowl. See, it all ties together.
All right, there you go. No problem about that. All right, now, you can't talk about this big game, and I know this will make some people happy and some people not happy, but you can't talk about Super Bowl 58 without talking about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Curran already did a lot of that. Now, it is not confirmed whether or not Mrs. Swift will actually be at Super Bowl 58 to watch her man play in the big game. However, we do know this, Curran.
Yeah.
When Miss Swift is at a big game,
yes,
the broadcast cameras are going to find her.
Yes.
Now, how many times Taylor Swift will be shown on camera during the broadcast isn't a prop that's going to be available in most states, because technically it could be rigged by CBS producers. So can't have that. But it's still a fun one. We're going to talk about it anyway. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set the line, Curran.
Sure.
Let's set the hit in the books line. We're going to set it at 5.5. Are you going over or under Travis Kelce's lady being shown on the camera during the Super Bowl at the line being 5.5? What are you going with?
It's pretty simple for me. Over, over, over. I don't care what the line is on how many times they're going to show Taylor Swift. I'm going to take the over no matter what. Because think about this. I've already picked Travis Kelce to have a big game. So Dexter, every time Travis Kelce does something on the field, who are they going to show?
Taylor Swift, I would think so.
And you talked about the reports about if she's going to make it or not. If you look up the time that her concert ends, it ends at, let's say, 11 p.m. on Saturday. Because of the time change, a direct flight will get her there around 5:30 p.m. on Saturday, Vegas time, which means she has almost 24 hours before kickoff. So she can easily make it to the game. Sources have said Taylor Swift will be at the game. They've also said she's not going to be performing. She's going to be in the box watching, cheering on Travis Kelce, cheering on the Kansas City Chiefs, as she's been doing the whole season. So I think no matter what, it's going to be the over, because I think anything Travis Kelce does or the Chiefs do, they're going to obviously show Taylor Swift, which they should do because she's earned that right as one of the biggest pop stars in the world. Even American Airlines and United Airlines have actually changed their flight numbers, KC to Vegas to be 1989 and 87.
Really?
Yeah, they've changed the numbers so they can reflect Taylor Swift and Kelce's jersey number. Now, here's the thing, though. As much as they're doing with that, which we do appreciate, we know that Taylor Swift is going to be flying private. So it doesn't really matter if you change the American Airlines or United.
On a private jet getting there.
Yes.
I feel like American Airlines, and I forgot the other, y'all are doing too much. You know you're doing too much. We don't need it. But Curran appreciates it.
I appreciate it.
I'm not saying that I do.
I appreciate it.
I'm not going to say that I do. Okay, over. In terms of the amount of times that you will see Taylor Swift shown on the broadcast. I do think that's a good bet. Okay, last one for me, Curran.
Yes.
We're going to take it to the halftime show. And this one, I like. This is one of my favorite artists, and in my opinion, the best solo male R&B act of my generation. That is Usher. He is going to be performing at halftime. Now, Super Bowl halftime shows, they're always interesting because you never know what you're going to get. We do know the time. It's going to be about 13 minutes, but you don't know what's going to happen. So here's a prop bet for you, Curran. Will Usher bring out a guest during his performance at halftime? Yay or nay?
So here's the first thing I want to ask you, Dexter. You said one of the greatest solo R&B artists of our generation. You said you said the greatest. I think.
I said
right?
of my generation.
Of your generation. Okay. Yeah. Now, here's my question for you: are you counting Drake as a R&B artist, or is that does he count as R&B and hip hop? Because then I'm going to have to disagree with you only about the greatest of our generation.
I think when you talk about Drake, I'm putting him in the hip hop category.
Okay. All right.
I'm taking him out of
So then I'll agree with you on Usher. I've been listening to Usher for years. We grew up listening to Usher. Great artist. So my pick for this is no guest, and I'll tell you why. I think this is Usher's moment. I think if you look at last year, there was Rihanna. She didn't bring out a guest. And I think when you have a great artist like this, it's a good moment to have almost like a career retrospective. Let them have that moment to show us what they've been doing for several decades, these hit songs that we've listened to. We know it's been confirmed that I know you love talking about Taylor Swift, actually. So it's been confirmed that Taylor Swift will not be performing, even if she is there in person. She's not going to be performing. We thought maybe if the Lions won, Eminem could come out to perform. The Lions didn't win, so Eminem's not going to be there. So I think there's going to be no guest. But Dexter, I actually looked it up. There's odds on the first song for Usher. So let me hear your thoughts here.
Yeah.
Okay. We got My Way, minus 200. Yeah, plus 225. DJ Got Us Falling in Line, plus 800. Love in This Club, plus 800. So what I don't know. What do you think is going to be like the first song for Usher?
And it's funny because I saw Usher in his Vegas residency.
Yes.
And I don't think it's not going to be any way close to the same set list. My gut, what did you say? Yeah, was plus 225?
Yes.
Give me Yeah plus 225.
Okay.
I'm rocking with that. I'm rocking with Yeah plus 225.
Not My Way. My Way is a classic song.
No, I think that will be there, but I think that's something that might come more in the middle of the set. I can see him doing that. I think he will do that.
Yeah.
That's been the name of his Vegas residency.
Yeah.
I'm with you on the no guest. Usher did bring out guests during his Vegas residency, but I think that was for those people coming to see that. I think this is a celebration of him. I think for the reasons you mentioned, I say no guest. I like that bet.
There actually is odds for which guest too. There's Alicia Keys was one of the favorites. She sang the national anthem at the Super Bowl before, so that was actually the top. Ludacris, Lil Jon, Nicki Minaj, Justin Bieber. These were Taylor Swift, Lil Wayne. These were all names that were mentioned. Now it is Vegas, and we know Usher is a performer, so it would be interesting if he brought someone out, and I think it would be electric. But at the end of the day, I think yes, Usher, one of the greatest solo male R&B artists of our time. No, he's not going to bring out a guest. That's my pick, but it's Usher. It's Usher, baby. You love it.
Usher, baby. That's it. It's good. Look, it's going to be a good show. That's what I'm going to say. Hopefully it's a good show, and then we'll have all the discussion around that. This was fun, man. We talked some different prop bets. We didn't, stick to the usual. It's all about football. We talked a little football. Probably talked too much Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, but that's okay. That is my guy, Curran Bhatia of Ask the Experts with Curran Bhatia. Check that out. Always good to talk sports betting with you, my friend, here on Hitting the Books. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you so much, Dexter. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Enjoy the game. Enjoy Taylor Swift, Usher, all of it. I just want you to enjoy, man.
Enjoy the Super Bowl, and make sure when you're watching the Super Bowl, you have it without whatever your favorite color of Gatorade or flavor is.
Of course, of course.
I don't think you're a flavor.
I got to go purple. I'm betting purple. I got to go purple.
All right, there you go. Enjoy. Thank you, man.